Good morning, Judge Sue Upper, Leslie Basie, and Zach Witchell appearing for the state of Wisconsin.
Good morning, sir. Your name for the record, please.
I'm here as a third-party intervener in that matter, appearing as authorized representative for my client. I accept for value in return for value all of the charging instruments in this matter and make my exemption available for discharge of all obligations and charges connected with this case. I do not dispute any of the facts in the charging instruments.
We had a discussion with Mr. Brooks outside the presence of the jury in which several broad topics were discussed. One of them was Mr. Brooks had indicated he did not have a pretrial offer from the state. We would ask the record to reflect that afternoon we did provide him again with a written copy of our pretrial offer, and that was placed with his materials on the table. I just wanted that in the record, please.
I object to that. I don't. If it was with my paperwork, I haven't seen it.
It was specifically one of the papers, sir, that you left in the bullpen area that on the next morning, on Friday morning, I made a record of providing back to you. So it was provided to you twice.
Well, I haven't seen it.
You want to put the offer on the record, Attorney Opera?
Give me 1 second, Your Honor.
So what's the significance of it being on the record? If
So that you are fully aware of it, sir. It was provided to you, but you're indicating you haven't read it, so I want them to make a record of it. The significance would be, I suppose, if at any point you wanted to change your plea, you could do that based upon the pretrial offer.
Well, in any event, I accept for value in return for value that document whenever I see it.
Attorney Opera, go ahead.
Sorry, it's just taking me a second to retrieve it here, Your Honor.
Your Honor, this would be a perfect time to address the subject matter jurisdiction that has yet to be proven on the record and must be
Mr.
proven
Brooks,
by the prosecution.
we are not going to address that. I issued a written decision last week. If you disagree with that, then you can take that up to a higher court. But I issued a written decision. I'm not addressing that any further.
It has yet to be proven on record.
Mr. Brooks, my written decision is the decision of this court.
Has it
Attorney
been
Opera,
proven?
go ahead.
Has it been proven on record that you have subject matter jurisdiction? Because it has yet to be proven.
Mr. Brooks, your position is simply not correct as a matter of law. I explained that,
Then prove it
and
lawfully
I issued
by
the
law.
decision. You might be confusing subject matter jurisdiction with venue, which is why I commented on that last week.
Absolutely
and
not.
There has been evidence received regarding venue. So I'm going to turn back to Attorney Opera.
has
She's
nothing to
going
do
to make
with
a
venue,
record
Your
of the
Honor.
pretrial offer. I'd ask that you not interrupt. Thank you.
Plead to counts 1 through 67 in the information. The penalty enhancers on all counts will be struck. Counts 68 to 83 will be dismissed and read in. The state will recommend 6 consecutive life sentences on counts 1 through 6. The state will recommend unspecified prison on all other counts. The defense is free to argue. This pretrial offer was conveyed to his prior counsel on or about the July 5th date, and there in fact had been a earlier offer as well that had been relayed prior to the preliminary hearing or the filing of the information back in January of 2022 that had also been conveyed to his defense counsel at the time.
All right, thank you.
So why haven't I been informed of that?
All right, Mr. Brooks, that is not a topic we are going to take up any further. I just wanted the record to reflect that offer was conveyed to you.
It wasn't conveyed to me, Your Honor. This is the first time I'm hearing of it. So if it was conveyed to my former
It's
counsel.
not something I'm going to further address, sir, unless you indicate to me that you would like to take advantage of the pretrial offer by changing your pleas to either guilty or no contest to counts 1 through 67 and submit the appropriate paperwork. I'm guessing that's not what you want to do. So unless that paperwork were to be filed, then I'm going to continue with this trial as if you are exercising your right to a trial in this matter.
And in all respect, Your Honor, I don't think it's fair that you should assume what I want to do or not, or what I don't want to do.
I just need to make a record that that paperwork was provided, sir. We'll continue with the testimony today. I'm not going to take up subject matter jurisdiction. I've issued a written decision. Is there any other preliminary topic from either party?
Is that decision verified proof that subject matter jurisdiction exists? Because it has yet to be proven on the record.
All right, your objection is noted. Please bring the jury out.
Your Honor, is that the answer?
Mr. Brooks, I issued a written decision. That's your answer.
And what's that? And what does the written decision entail?
So that was provided to you last week. I'm not going to
I
go
accept
through
for
it
value
again.
in return for value the document that I have not seen. What does it entail, Your Honor?
Sir, you were provided with a written copy. I'm not going to read it into the record at this point. It is part of the record. It's a final order
If
for
it's
purposes
part of the record,
appeal.
why can't it be read into the record right now?
It doesn't need to be read into the record, sir.
Is it
It's
verified
part of
proof
the
of?
record.
Is it verified proof of subject matter?
Mr. Brooks, I'm not answering that because it's not something that needs to be verified.
It has to be verified by the prosecution.
I heard the thing come back.
Or is that a tacit agreement that you don't have to answer that question or verify proof of subject matter
Sir,
jurisdiction?
I have no such agreement with you, tacit or otherwise. So that's not how this operates. Again, just
So
because
would
you
it be
believe
proven?
the law requires, that doesn't make it true. All right, the
Show
jury's
me
coming out.
lawfully
All
law.
rise for the jury, please.
Show me by lawfully law that you have subject matter jurisdiction, because it hasn't been proven on the record. It has yet to be proven for the record. Let the record reflect that.
The record will not reflect that, and the jury will disregard the comments currently being made.
The record
just
should
made by
reflect that.
Mr. Brooks.
You have to put it on the record. Otherwise, that'd be tampering with the record. So at 8:40,
All right. Good morning, everyone. Please be seated.
tacit agreement at 8:40.
All right. Please disregard the most recent comment by
Tacit
Mr.
agreement
Brooks.
at
It's not
8:40.
evidence in this proceeding.
Good morning, Mr. Backler.
Hi.
Sir, on November 21 of 2021, where did you live?
Objection, relevancy.
Overruled. Around 4:49 p.m., what happened, sir?
Objection, leading the witness.
Overruled.
I heard some noise around on the east side of my garage, and I went to see what was going on, and I found the defendant on the side of my garage.
And you questioned that person for being there, is that right?
Objection, leading the witness.
I think I dropped an F-bomb on him.
Why?
He was trespassing.
Okay. The person that
There
you
was an objection, but it's overruled.
saw, can you give us a description of that person, please?
When I called it in on the non-emergency line at the Waukesha Police Department, I described him wearing a red shirt, jeans, long hair, beard, and I think he was missing his shoes.
Okay. You said red top?
Red shirt,
Objection,
yes.
leading the witness.
Red shirt. What kind of shirt?
Overruled.
I believe it was a red T-shirt.
Okay. To your way of thinking, was he dressed appropriately for the weather?
Objection, leading the witness.
Overruled. You may answer.
Relevancy, objection.
Overruled.
Immediately, it just seemed off because he was wearing a T-shirt. If I remember correctly, he was not wearing shoes. It was very cold out. He was sweating. His eyes were huge, and he kept asking if I could call him an Uber, and then he said, "I need to get home."
Did you agree to call an Uber for him?
No, I said he needed to leave my yard.
Okay. Do you see him present in the courtroom here?
He's sitting over there with the mask on and in the suit.
Okay, I'm going to ask the defendant be instructed to remove the mask.
Mr. Brooks, please remove your mask.
And if he would look at the witness, please, Your Honor, with his head down, it's not to assist.
All right, Mr. Brooks, please look up and look at the witness. Look at the witness, please. Thank you.
Is that the man that you're describing that was in your backyard that you spoke to?
Objection,
Yes.
leading.
Overruled.
Move to admit and permission to publish 171, Your Honor.
Objection, relevancy.
Your objection is overruled.
And sir, it's a little hard to tell in the photograph, but was the t-shirt he was wearing a short sleeve or long sleeve, if you remember?
Objection, relevancy.
Overruled.
It was a short sleeve shirt.
Okay. Ultimately, did he leave your property?
Objection, asked and answered.
Overruled. You may answer.
When he was leaving, he was kind of taking his time, and then I told him he needs to leave again, and started walking towards him as he was leaving, and he lifted his shirt up and said he was unarmed.
Okay. Had you asked him about any weapons?
I had
Objection, relevancy.
Overruled.
I had not asked.
Thank you, sir. I don't have any other questions.
All right, sir. Mr. Brooks, do you have any questions for this witness?
Yes, I do, and I object to being called that name for the record. Do you recall giving a statement to Officer Probst?
I don't know his name, but I've talked to an officer.
So it was a conversation on the non-emergency line. Would that be fair to say?
It was on the non-emergency line. I actually confirmed it after I called to make sure I was on the non-emergency line.
Do you recall the description that you gave at that time?
I do. Well, my best of my knowledge was that you were either black, Latino,
Who's you?
or mixed.
Who's you?
Hold on, you have to let him answer the question first before you interrupt him with another one. Go ahead with the description you provided that night.
I said that the individual was either black, mixed, or Latino.
So it would be fair to say you didn't know at the time.
I was giving a general description.
So it would be fair to say that you weren't sure.
I was positive it was you.
Who is you?
You. I'm looking at you.
And how did you come to that conclusion, the you conclusion?
I'm looking at you.
How did you come to that conclusion? Did you?
What conclusion? Can you restate the question?
You're saying that you gave a description on the non-emergency phone line, correct?
It was on a non-emergency line.
So it would be fair to say at that time you had no name or knowledge of who the person was in your backyard. Would that be fair to say?
I had no idea who you were.
And so how can you say how can you say you then if you had no idea?
I'm looking at you. You were the guy.
And how did you come to that conclusion?
You and I were standing in the same yard looking at each other.
So is it possible you saw something on the news?
No, I had no idea who you were.
Interesting. Do you recall giving a description of approximately 5'9" and 160 pounds?
Yeah, something like that.
Something like that, or would that be accurate?
I didn't have a tape measure out. It was just a guesstimate.
Would it be fair to say that since you keep identifying me as you, would it be fair to say that I'm not 5'9" nor 160 pounds?
You have your shoes on or off right now?
Would it be fair to say that I'm not 5'9", 160 pounds?
If you take your shoes off and step out of them, they could have a better.
Well, I'm not going to have them do that, but if you're able to answer the question, do you agree?
I'd have to be standing next to him. That's what I made my judgment from. We were about 2 feet from each other.
Does it look like I'm 5'9"?
I don't know. We were a lot closer.
Does it look like I'm 160 pounds?
Objection.
Grounds.
It's irrelevant as to his appearance today, just like his hair isn't in dreadlocks today.
Sustained.
Objection.
Next question.
Grounds for the sustain. You also said that, well, the narrative in the report said that the individual was later identified. Would that be fair to say?
Yeah, that'd be fair to say.
And so would it also be fair to say that because the individual was identified later, that's how you came to the conclusion of who it may have been in your yard?
Objection, I think that's
Grounds.
a statement, Your Honor. He's, again, reading a police report,
That's a question.
not authored by this witness. It's beyond the scope of the witness's knowledge.
It's actually the report that he
Mr.
gave.
Brooks, I've heard enough. If the objection is sustained.
Did you follow the investigation after you had given the report on the non-emergency line?
It's kind of hard not to see it on TV.
So you made reference to it was kind of hard not to see it on the news. Would that be fair to say?
It was all over the news.
And would it be fair to say that from those news reports you gained additional information that you didn't have that night?
Actually, what I did is went into work the next morning and pulled up the police report on the internet, and there you were in a mugshot. And I'm like, that's the guy.
So you got a further description from a mugshot?
No, I didn't get a further description. At the time, I didn't care who you were when you were in my yard. I didn't know who you were, what you had done, where you had been, any of that stuff.
So
All I'm saying is you were trespassing in my yard at that time. And that's all I can say. Other than that, that's all I can confirm. I don't know what you did. I don't know where you were. I don't know any of the other stuff. All I know is you were the guy in my yard.
The guy that you said was 5'9", 160 pounds.
Objection, argumentative,
Grounds.
asked and answered.
Grounds.
Sustained. Next question, you don't have to answer that.
And what prompted you to read or pull up the police report?
Objection, irrelevant.
Grounds. He said it. He brought it out there.
Overruled, he may answer.
I was curious of actually who you were, and if you were the person that actually had done the atrocities that were on television. And what prompted the curiosity? A stranger was in my yard, unannounced, trespassing, asked them to leave, and they ended up catching somebody for doing something very bad, and I was wondering if that was the individual that had cut through my yard. So it'd be fair to say at the time you wasn't privy to that knowledge yet. I had grounds.
Sustained as to the form of the question.
At the time you pulled up the police report, as you say, you had no knowledge of the identity of the individual. I didn't know that you were going to be the person that had done that. You keep referring to the you. You. I'm looking into your eyes right now. You're the guy I'm talking about when I refer to you.
And the record should reflect that the witness used his right hand and index finger to point directly at the defendant. Next question, please.
So you just made reference to looking the you in the eyes, but you would need... What would you prefer I call you? You would need... Because you're not going by Darrell Brooks. You would need me to step out of my shoes to tell my height and weight, right? Well, I'd have to also stand 2 feet from you.
Hold on, please. Mr. Brooks, you're directed under 90611 to ask a question and not argue with the witness.
That
Thank
was
you.
a question.
It was argumentative. Please rephrase your question, and then the witness is instructed to wait until a question is asked. And if there's any objection, then I rule on it first. Go ahead, next question.
It sounds like he didn't want to argue.
Jury will disregard that last comment. Mr. Brooks, you're not testifying right now. You'll have an opportunity if you choose to do that later. Please ask a question.
Yeah, I'm going to get to it. Any reason why you didn't give a written statement to law enforcement?
Objection. Argumentative.
Grounds.
Irrelevant.
How's it argumentative?
Sustained. As to the form of the question. Next question, please.
Did you at any time give a written statement to law enforcement?
I don't believe so.
Any reason why not?
Objection.
Grounds.
Argumentative and irrelevant.
Sustained.
Grounds for the sustain.
Mr. Brooks, please ask your next question.
Grounds for the sustain. You said you pulled up the police report at work the next day, right?
No, I pulled up your mugshot.
Well, you did say police report. Would that be fair to say?
I just pulled up a mugshot.
You don't recall saying that you pulled up the police report specifically?
I specifically wanted to pull up the picture of the person that had committed those atrocities to see if that was the person that had cut through my yard, which confirmed it was.
Have you yourself filed a complaint?
Nope.
Any reason why not?
Objection.
Grounds.
Relevant.
Sustained.
Argumentative.
As to the form of the question and on relevance. Next question.
So you knew it was a possibility that you would be called to testify.
I had no expectation of the subpoena until I went to the DA's office.
So you went to the DA's office?
They want to see if you're worth having as a witness or if you actually had any information that was pertinent to the case.
And so would it be fair to say that you felt that you did?
I didn't know.
Grounds.
I'll sustain as to the form of the question that strike the last response. Please rephrase.
Did you feel that you had information that would be relevant to the matter?
That's an irrelevant question,
Grounds.
Your Honor.
Sustained. Next question, please.
Grounds for the sustain, Your Honor.
Next question, please.
Grounds for the sustain, Your Honor.
Next question, please.
Is that a judicial determination, Your Honor?
Ask your next question, please.
When you went to the district attorney's office, do you recall whom you spoke with?
I don't recall their names. I recall their faces.
You said you do recall the names, not the faces?
No, I recall their faces, not their names.
Do you see any of those district attorneys in court here today?
I see one district attorney and one officer was in the room.
And for the record and for the jury, can you identify whom you're referring to?
I'd have to point.
I'll
Her,
stipulate,
yep.
Your Honor. I met
And
with Mr. Backler.
this officer here, sitting behind them.
All right, so the
Yes,
witness has
Detective.
pointed to District Attorney Sue Opper and Detective Casey.
Do you recall ever being told about the plaintiff in this matter?
Objection.
Grounds.
Vague.
Sustained as to the form of the question.
Do you know who the plaintiff is in this matter?
Objection.
Grounds.
Vague, beyond the
Grounds.
scope of the witness's knowledge, legally inaccurate.
Sustained as to the form of the question.
Did Attorney Opper ever tell you who the plaintiff was in this matter?
The subpoena told me who the plaintiff was.
And do you recall who the plaintiff is?
Darrell Brooks.
That's the plaintiff?
Or not the plaintiff, the plaintiff is, I think, city of Waukesha or state of Wisconsin. I'm not sure.
And it'd be fair to say that that's not a living, breathing human being.
Objection.
Grounds.
Relevance.
Sustained, not relevant. Next question.
Are you aware that only a living, breathing human being can Make a claim.
Objection.
Grounds.
Irrelevant. Argumentative.
Grounds.
Sustained for those reasons, and it's also not an accurate statement. of the law.
Definitely not
That's
argumentative.
Mr. Brooks, under 90611, I need you to move on from this topic and ask a different line of questions, please.
Move on from what topic, Your Honor?
Next question, sir.
Can I know what topic you're referring to, Your Honor?
Next question, please.
If I don't know the topic, how would I know to go in a different direction?
Mr. Brooks, under 90611, I need you to ask a question.
Do you know if there's even a plaintiff in this matter?
Objection. Irrelevant.
Sustained. Under 90611, sir, please move on from this topic or I will declare your cross-examination closed.
Under what law and fact, Your Honor?
Under 90611, please ask a question.
And where can I find 90611?
This is your last opportunity to ask a question, sir.
Your Honor, the jury deserves to know this information.
All right, then the state, any redirect?
No redirect. Thank you, Judge.
All right, thank you, sir. You may step down.
Were you home on the afternoon of November 21st, that Sunday afternoon?
Objection leading.
Overruled. His answer may stand.
What was the answer?
Yes. I believe is what he said.
Yes.
What happened is you were also standing in the driveway.
Mr. Brooks was coming up the driveway, and when I turned, he kind of stopped, and I noticed that he wasn't wearing a jacket or shoes.
Could you tell us what he was wearing?
He was
Objection,
wearing.
leading.
Overruled. He may answer.
Okay. He was wearing just blue jeans and like a red T-shirt, and he had lifted his shirt and did a 360 and told me that he didn't have any weapons and that he needed a phone to call an Uber.
How many of your sons were present and in the driveway with you?
Objection relevancy.
Overruled.
2.
How old were they at the time?
Objection relevancy.
Overruled. You may answer.
One was 21 and the other one was 14.
Do you recall providing a physical description of Mr. Brooks, the person you've referred to as Mr. Brooks today, back on November 21st when you met with the police?
Objection. I did not consent to being called that name.
Mr. Brooks, that's not a valid objection at this time. Go ahead. You may
I don't
answer.
consent to being called that name.
Go ahead and answer.
I'm sorry, could you repeat the question?
Back on November 21st, when you met with the police, did you provide a physical description of the man who came up your driveway?
Yes.
Objection relevancy.
Overruled.
Your Honor, could you please instruct Mr. Brooks to remove his mask momentarily?
Mr. Brooks, please remove your mask and look at the witness.
Mr. Caprone, the person you've described today as walking up your driveway, the person who you've referred to as Mr. Brooks today, do you see that person in the courtroom today?
Objection leading.
Overruled. You may
I
answer,
consent
sir.
to being called that name either.
Yes.
Could you please point to him and then tell us what he's wearing?
He's wearing a suit and tie. And a mask.
Your Honor, let the record reflect, please, that the witness has identified the defendant.
The record will so reflect.
And that he pointed with his right hand towards Mr. Brooks.
Thank you for that.
Objection. I
additional-
don't consent to being called that name. For the record.
Whose phone, you described handing a phone to Mr. Brooks, whose phone was it?
Objection. I don't consent to being called that name.
Your objection is noted, although it's not legally relevant at this time, and I'd ask that you not interrupt with an objection for that reason under 90611. Go ahead, Attorney
I
Witch,
don't
your
consent
question
to being
again.
called that name.
Whose phone was it that you handed to the man in your driveway?
That was my fault.
And did you see what that man did with the phone?
Objection leading.
Overruled. You may answer.
He called a number on the phone, or called somebody, which I at the time thought was Uber.
When you met with the police, did they ask to see your phone?
Yes.
And the purpose of that was to try and see the number that
Yes.
Mr. Brooks had called?
Objection.
Yeah.
Overruled.
No consent to being called that name.
Yes.
Would you please show for the witness only exhibit number 74, a photograph?
Go ahead.
Objection relevancy.
Overruled.
Grounds.
It's relevant.
Mr. Caprone, do you see a photograph on the screen in front of you?
Yes.
What are we looking at here?
This is the number that Mr. Brooks had called.
Can you read that number out loud for us?
Objection relevancy.
Overruled.
414-610-2153.
And this is a call history screenshot, is that right? Where we can see all the recent calls to and from that number?
Yes.
Is this an accurate depiction of how your phone screen looked that afternoon as you showed it to the police?
Objection leading.
Overruled. You may answer, sir.
Yes.
I move exhibit 74 into evidence and ask for permission to publish.
Objection relevancy.
Okay, Mr. Caprone, did you call this number at any point?
Objection leading.
Overruled. He may answer.
No.
So all three of these calls, outgoing, incoming, and canceled, would have been made by someone other than you.
Yes.
Objection leading.
And the only person who had your phone during that time frame was who?
Objection
Me.
leading.
Or
Overruled.
Derek. No, Mr. Brooks.
After Mr. Brooks handed you your phone back, what happened next?
A lady had called me, and I answered the phone, and I asked her if she was Uber, and she told me she wasn't an Uber.
And it was recorded in your phone's call history?
Yes.
And it was the same number that Mr. Brooks had used your phone to dial?
Objection leading, and I don't consent to being called that name.
Overruled. Any questions, Mr. Brooks, for this
Yes.
witness?
I don't consent to being called that name for the record. If it pleases the court, I have the statement here, and I would like to show the witness.
Is it his written statement?
It's I'm guessing, whatever statement he gave to Detective Shorts.
Is it a written statement?
I don't know if it's a written statement.
Would this
Maybe
be
it may- maybe it
Would this
may-
be the police report?
Yeah.
If it's not his written statement, then I'm going to deny that request to show it to the witness. You may ask a question.
Do you recall in your report with Detective Shorts that you described the male as approximately 5'5" to 5'6", weighing approximately 120 to 125 pounds, and the male appeared to be in his 20s?
Yeah, I don't recall.
Any reason why this report would say that, and then you would, when you were asked the description, you gave a different description? Any reason why the two would conflict?
Objection.
Grounds?
Argumentative.
Grounds.
And misstates the evidence.
Sustained.
Reason for the sustain? Grounds for the sustain?
Sustained as to the form of the question. And it misstates the testimony in part.
Well, I'm reading from the report that was given to the detective.
And you can't testify as to what that report says. You can only question the witness on it, sir.
That was a question. Do you recall?
He said he did not recall. Next question.
Do you recall around what time you were subpoenaed to testify here today?
I think a letter came in the mail in July.
And did you follow up with the district attorney's office at that point?
Yes.
Do you recall whom you spoke with? You made let the record reflect, you made a hand gesture with your left hand. Would that be referring to the table,
Yes.
the prosecution table?
Yes.
So you recall speaking to one of those attorneys?
Yes.
Do you recall whom?
The gentleman here.
I'll stipulate that Mr. Caproon's pointing at me.
Yeah.
All right, the record will still reflect.
And at any time, did you ever see a police reporter or complaint in this matter?
No.
Did you ever yourself make a claim in this matter?
Don't understand the question.
Did you file a claim?
I don't understand the question.
Did you yourself file a complaint with law enforcement?
No.
Ever spoke with the plaintiff in this matter?
Objection.
Grounds?
Relevance.
Grounds.
Sustained.
Grounds for the sustain, Your Honor.
90611.
Are you aware of any plaintiff in this matter?
Objection.
Grounds.
Relevance.
Grounds.
Sustained. Relevance 90611 as well.
You ever seen a plaintiff in this matter?
Objection.
Grounds.
Sustained. Next question.
Had any conversations or any interactions with the plaintiff?
Objection.
Grounds.
Sustained is to the form of the question.
Ever had a phone conversation with the plaintiff?
Objection.
Grounds.
Sustained is to the form of the question.
Ever been contacted by the plaintiff in any way?
Objection.
Grounds.
Sustained is to the form of the question.
Have you ever contacted the plaintiff in any way?
Objection.
Grounds.
Sustained
Grounds for the sustain, Your Honor.
is to the form of the question.
And are you even aware of a plaintiff in this matter?
Objection.
Grounds.
Sustained.
Grounds for the sustain, Your Honor.
I previously sustained it. Next question.
Grounds for the sustain, Your Honor.
Next question. Under 90611, please continue. Otherwise, I'll declare the cross-examination
You
ended.
can declare whatever you want to. No further questions.
You recall meeting with myself and my colleagues here a few weeks ago?
Objection.
Yes.
Relevancy.
Overruled.
Do you remember where that meeting took place?
Here.
In the courthouse?
Yeah.
During business hours?
Objection. Relevancy.
Overruled. You questioned him about meeting with the prosecution. These are proper.
I didn't question him about the time.
It's proper redirect. Go ahead, sir. You may answer.
Yes.
We discussed your potential testimony, is that right?
Yes.
Were we asking you questions about November 21st?
Objection. Speculative.
Overruled. You may answer.
Yes.
We showed you that the photograph of the call log, right?
Yes.
And had you ever looked at your phone screen before?
Objection for lead.
Not leading. It's relevant, and he may answer.
Yes.
Did we at any time give you a script for your testimony today?
Objection. Asked during cross.
It's redirect. It's proper. You may answer. It's overruled.
No.
Thank you, Your Honor. That's all we have.
All right. Thank you, sir. You may step down. Statement called to next witness.
Thank you. The state calls Aaron Cordes. Do you recall from what location you watched the parade?
Objection. Relevancy.
Overruled. She may answer.
We watched it from the corner of West and Wisconsin.
Near the end of the parade route?
Objection, leading.
Overruled.
As you were at that location watching the parade, did something unusual happen?
Objection, leading.
Overruled.
The car, I thought it was coming at us for a minute, but it ended up swerving and going through the barricades, and the police officer fired 3 shots at the vehicle.
You were standing right there at that intersection.
Yes, I was.
Objection.
Objections noted. It's overruled.
We were parked a few blocks out of the way on Elizabeth Street.
Okay.
At Aries Industries.
Do you have some familiarity with Aries Industries?
Yes, I do.
Objection. Relevancy.
Overruled. She may answer. Do me a favor, if there is an objection, wait until I rule on it before you answer.
Okay.
Thank you. Go ahead.
And what's your familiarity with Aries Industries?
Objection.
Overruled.
My husband is employed at Aries Industries.
Do you happen to know the address of that location?
Objection, relevancy.
Overruled. You may answer.
I don't offhand, no.
Okay. Do you know what street it's on?
Objection, relevancy.
Overruled.
Leading.
It's not leading. Overruled. You may answer.
Yes, Elizabeth Street.
Okay. Making your way back to your car, did you encounter somebody out on foot?
Yes, we did.
Tell us about that, please.
Objection, leading.
Overruled. She may answer.
We had just rounded the corner onto Elizabeth Street, and Darrell Brooks, we encountered Darrell Brooks. He came out of the shadows between a couple houses and approached us.
Okay. Now, you refer to this person by name. Did you know Mr. Brooks prior to this encounter?
No,
Okay. Never met him before.
correct.
Objection.
And you said he...
Hold on.
I'm sorry.
The objection came after her answer. Her answer will stand. Next question.
You said he kind of came out of... Did you say the bushes?
Objection.
What did you say?
Objection.
Oh, overruled. She rephrased. He may answer. She may answer. I'm sorry.
It appeared he came from between 2 houses, so I don't know exactly where he was.
Okay. And did you notice his appearance when he approached you?
Objection, leading.
Overruled.
Yes, I did.
What did you notice?
I just remember it was a very windy, cold night, and he was dressed pretty inappropriately for the night. I noticed he was visibly shivering. He had a red short sleeve t-shirt on and was not wearing shoes.
Do you see the same person present in this courtroom here today?
Yes, I do.
Your Honor, I'm going to ask that Mr. Brooks be instructed to remove his mask and look at the witness so she can properly identify him, please.
Mr. Brooks, please unmask and look at the witness. Sir, would you please unmask and look at the witness? Thank you.
I was writing something down.
All right, thank you. Just want to make sure you heard me.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Is that the gentleman you encountered on the street that you're describing for us, ma'am?
Yes, it is.
Did Mr. Brooks speak to you in any way?
Objection. I do not consent to being called that name.
You may answer.
Yes, he did.
What did he say?
Objection, leading.
Overruled.
He asked if either of us had a phone that he could use, and we said we hesitated because it was strange. It was a strange encounter.
So he asked for the phone.
Correct.
You kind of pause.
Yep.
And then what'd you do?
Objection,
then-
leading.
Overruled. Go ahead, you may answer.
His next words were, "I'm not going to hurt you. I just need to use your phone." And that's when I gave him my phone.
Okay. Did he use your phone? Did you see him manipulate your phone in some fashion?
Objection. What do you mean by manipulate?
Overruled. She may answer.
I'm sorry, what was the question again?
Did you see him use your phone in some way?
Yes, I did.
What did you see him do?
Objection, leading.
Overruled. You may answer.
He called his mom.
Could you hear what he was saying on his end?
Yes, I could hear what he was saying.
Could you hear the responses being provided by the person on the other end of the phone?
Objection. Speculative.
Overruled. You may answer.
No, I could not hear the other side of the conversation.
Okay. Tell us to the best of your memory what you remember Mr. Brooks was saying into the phone.
Objection. I don't consent to being called that name.
Go ahead and answer,
ask
please.
not to be called that name. Thank you.
He just kept asking his mom to call him an Uber. And He wasn't responding to anything that she was asking. He just kept repeating, call me an Uber. I need an Uber now.
Did Mr. Brooks turn his attention to you and ask a question to you as he was still on the phone?
Objection, I don't consent to being called that name.
Go ahead and answer.
He asked for the address where we were located at the time.
At some point, did he terminate his phone call?
Objection, leading.
Overruled. You may answer.
Yes, he did.
And what happened then?
He said that he was freezing and he asked if I knew of any place that he could go warm up. So my husband directed him towards the lobby of Aries.
Did you see if he left your presence, where did he go?
Objection, leading.
Overruled.
He went up to the lobby.
You saw that?
Yes.
Okay. I'm going to request permission to publish again.
Permission granted.
Objection.
All right.
It's noted. It's overruled. It's already been received.
Could you just please point out Aries Industries and specifically, if you can, the area where you saw Mr. Brooks head for the lobby of the building?
Objection, I don't consent to being called that name again. For the record.
Jury will disregard that last comment by the defendant.
It's way in the other corner over here, so it's
Okay.
hidden by the trees.
Okay. So the area where you first encountered Mr. Brooks, is that actually shown in this photograph?
Objection, I don't consent to being called that name.
Jury will disregard that comment.
I don't consent. For the record.
Go ahead and answer, ma'am.
It's more over here where we were parked. There's a second parking lot over there.
Okay. And then the person in the photograph, can you circle the person, please? Is that what Mr. Brooks looked like that evening when you spoke to him?
Objection, I don't consent to being called that name.
Go ahead and answer.
Yes.
Is this the door that you directed Mr. Brooks to?
Objection, I don't consent to being called that name.
You may answer, ma'am.
Yes.
Okay. Do you believe this video is a true and accurate depiction of the events of November 21 of 21?
Yes, I do.
Move to
Your-
admit 76 and permission to publish, Your Honor.
I believe there was an objection. It's noted. It's overruled. Exhibit 76 is received and permission to publish is granted.
The witness wasn't there in this video. How could it be relevant?
Your objections noted, sir.
How could it be
We're
relevant?
going to play it in its entirety, Your Honor. Did you see a person approach the doors to the building during the video?
Yes, I did. I saw Darrell Brooks approach the door.
And is that consistent with what you saw that night as you watched Mr. Brooks?
Yes.
Objection, I don't consent to being called that name.
Mr. Brooks may have questions for you. Any cross, sir?
I don't consent to being called that name, for the record.
Your cross, please.
Can I get to it? You just stated that before the interaction with the person that you had, you didn't know him. That be fair to say?
Yes, that's fair to say.
So how could you refer to him by name if you didn't know him?
I have seen the news since then and the video of you being arrested, and you had since been identified on TV.
So that's how you came to the name?
That's correct.
So it'd be fair to say that you got that off of news reports?
That's correct.
You said the individual you spoke with seemed out of place and disoriented, like he didn't know where he was. Would that be fair to say?
That's correct.
And how would you characterize disoriented?
You just seemed very, very nervous and that you didn't know where you were.
Who's you?
You had specifically said, I don't know where I am.
Who's you?
Or where am I specifically?
If you couldn't hear what was being said on the other end of the line, how can you say that there was questions being asked?
Well, there was clearly a conversation going on, and you just kept repeating, just call me an Uber, that you were very frustrated and whoever was asking questions of you didn't just to call you an Uber. It's just my interpretation of it. I could not hear the other end of the phone conversation.
So it'd be fair to say you don't know what was being discussed.
Besides call me an Uber, yes, that's correct.
Do you recall the description you gave in your written statement?
Yes, I believe so.
You believe so?
Yes, I recall the description I gave.
And what was that?
The description I gave was an African American male, about 160 pounds, 5'8", wearing a red t-shirt, no shoes.
And you referred to this individual coming from between houses, you said?
That's correct.
Is that what you actually saw?
Yes, that's what I saw. I saw you approach us at the very start of the block from between two houses.
Any reason why that's not in your written statement?
I don't recall. I didn't actually write it. There was a detective at our house that was writing the statement for it. Maybe that part got missed. I'm not sure.
Was it this statement?
I don't have it in front of me to see it.
Permission to show the witness the written statement?
Well, I don't know that it's necessary, Your Honor. She hasn't expressed any inability to recall.
Sustained.
She did. She just said she don't know why something was not in her written statement.
That's what she said is she doesn't know why the detective didn't write it in there. The detective is the one who wrote it, Your Honor.
So sustained. Sustained is to the form of Mr. Brooks. Let me answer. Sustained is to the form of the question.
So the officer was writing what you told him, or did you actually write it yourself?
I did not actually write it myself. The detective was writing it as we were speaking, my husband and I.
Did you make any claim in this matter? File a claim?
What kind of a claim?
Have you filed any claim?
No.
You filed a complaint?
I just gave a witness statement to the detectives. I did not file a complaint specifically.
About what time did you learn that you could possibly testify in this matter?
Objection, relevance.
Overruled. She may answer.
When I received a subpoena in the mail from the DA's office.
Do you recall whose name was on that subpoena?
Sue Opper.
Do you see Sue Opper in court today?
Yes, I do.
Can you point her out for the jury and for the record?
I'll stipulate, Your Honor.
Are you aware of who the plaintiff may be in this matter?
Objection, irrelevant.
Sustained.
Ever been notified who the plaintiff is in this matter?
Objection,
Grounds.
irrelevant.
Sustained.
Grounds for the sustain, Your Honor.
Next question, please.
Do you even know if there's a plaintiff in this matter?
Yes, there is.
And who's the plaintiff?
I believe it's the state of Wisconsin.
Would that constitute a breathing human being or an entity?
Objection,
Grounds.
argumentative, irrelevant.
Grounds.
Sustained.
Are you aware that only a human being can bring a complaint or be a plaintiff?
Objection, misstatement
Grounds.
of the law.
Sustained.
Have you ever contacted the state of Wisconsin in this matter?
Objection,
Grounds.
irrelevant.
Sustained.
Grounds for the sustain.
Under 90611, move on, or I'll declare the cross-examination ended.
Of course you would.
Yep,
We need
no,
the-
I know. I need the
yeah,
jury.
yes, we're
Go
ready.
back on the record. We'll have the jury brought out. Okay. I know I did that once, but I'm not going to do that again. Not yet. Now it is. You gotta.
I gotta get faster on that.
Yep.
Sometimes I just forget.
Are you going to address subject matter jurisdiction?
No.
Still has yet to be proven for the record. Is that a judicial determination that you don't have to answer there, Your Honor?
Mr. Brooks, I've already answered subject matter jurisdiction. You know that full well.
No, I
The
don't.
written decision was entered last week.
I know nothing. It has yet to be proved. That's what I know.
Doesn't need to be proved.
It does. It has to be proven by the prosecution. You know that.
No, I actually know to the contrary, so we're not going to address
So show me a lawful law that it says
it.
that.
Mr. Brooks, I provided you with the law.
No,
I'll
you
give
have
you
not.
You know what? I'll have my clerk print off another copy of that order. So
You don't have to
it.
do that. Have
No,
her
I'm going
print.
to because you apparently didn't read
No,
it. So
have
I
her
hope you
print
read
off
it this
proof.
time.
Have her print off proof that you have subject matter jurisdiction. How about that? It has to be proven
Mr.
for the
Brooks,
record. It has
you
yet to be
are simply
proven.
wrong as a matter of
No,
law.
I'm not. If I'm wrong, then show me that I'm wrong.
I've given you the constitutional and
No,
the
you haven't.
statutory authority.
No,
and
you
the
have
case
not.
law.
You have not proven it on the record.
It doesn't need to be proven, sir.
It does need to be proven.
I believe the jury's coming in.
I believe that. You gotta prove it. You gotta prove subject matter jurisdiction. Set for value and return for value that document is not proof of subject matter jurisdiction. For the record.
Sir, direct your attention to November 21st, 2021. Were you working in the city of Waukesha that day?
Yes,
What were you doing?
I was driving Lyft
Do you know approximately how many fares you took that day?
that
Objection,
day.
speculative.
Overruled. He may answer.
That day it was probably anywhere from like about 11 or 12, somewhere in there.
Were your clients all from the city of Waukesha? Was that the general area they were working?
Objection. Irrelevant.
Overruled. You may answer.
At some point, did you become aware of an incident that had occurred during the city of Waukesha Christmas parade?
Yes.
Objection. Leading.
Overruled. He may answer. His answer may stand.
Looking back when you were working November 21st, 2021, did anything seem relevant with regard to that news that you saw?
Objection. Leading.
Overruled. You may answer.
Yeah, I had a call that was in the area, and it was just like a really weird call because no one ever showed up.
What information were you given with regard to that request?
Objection. Leading.
Overruled. He may answer.
So the fare came in for dawn, and the address I was picking up at was, I think it was 550 Elizabeth, and it was an empty. Well, it wasn't empty. It was an empty parking lot, but it was a company that was closed.
When you arrived at the location, do you send something through your app that says I've arrived?
Objection. Leading.
Overruled. You may answer.
I began to message with whomever the person was on the other end, letting them know that I was waiting outside and that I was in a white car.
And this is a chat feature as part of the app?
Yes.
Objection. Leading.
Overruled. Your answer may stand.
And then what happened?
I received a message back letting me know who I was looking for and that they were calling a ride for someone else and they didn't know where he was. They then again gave me a description of who I was looking for.
And what was that description?
Objection. Leading.
Overruled.
Ask and answer.
Overruled. He may answer.
A light-skinned black guy with dreadlocks.
After you were given that information, what did you do?
I sent a message saying I didn't see anyone. I received a message back saying I don't know where he is. His phone died. He called me from someone else's phone. I didn't know. It was a basketball court out there, so I thought I was waiting on a kid.
Okay.
So I didn't want to just leave. So I got out my car. I knocked on the door at the company to see if anybody would come out. I rang the buzzer. Got no answer. I got back in my car. I sent the message saying there's no one around. Could they, make sure the person comes out, because I had already been past the 5-minute grace period.
Okay.
I got a message back saying I'll try to call them.
And when someone requests a ride and they don't appear, is there a charge then to that person?
Objection, relevancy.
Yeah, there's a charge if they go past the 5-minute grace period. There is a charge.
Okay.
Upon arriving at the destination, you were supposed to be giving a lift to someone. Do you recall if there was anything strange about the destination?
Yeah, it was a closed building. There was no one out there, no cars in the parking lot.
And usually, does your Lyft app have a profile picture attached to it?
No.
Do you recall when speaking to law enforcement something to the effect of referring to a profile picture or description included in the profile?
I recall saying that there was no profile picture.
Do you recall how many requests you completed after that failed one?
Approximately 8 to 10.
And you did state that you were not at the parade that evening, right?
True.
No further questions.
Was anybody else home with you?
No.
Can you describe what that residence looks like? Is it a single-family house, multi-unit? What's it look like?
Yeah, it's
Overruled. You may answer.
it's a three or four bedroom house with 2 bathrooms. It's a Cape Cod style home, land and stone, 2.5 car garage.
Okay. Do you know what Aries Industries is?
Yeah.
Where is Aries Industries in relation to the house you're describing?
Objection, leading.
Overruled. Witness may answer.
Yeah, Aries is right across the street from my house.
Do you recall what happened at approximately 5 o'clock p.m. that day?
Objection, leading.
Overruled. He may answer.
My Ring doorbell goes off, and then there's a gentleman at my front porch knocking on the door saying that they're homeless, they're cold, and they need to use my phone so that they can tell their Uber where to pick them up.
Do you remember what he was wearing?
Yeah, he had a red t-shirt, reddish orange t-shirt, and no shoes on, pants. But I remember it stood out to me because it was cold and really windy that day, and he was outside with a t-shirt and no shoes and saying he's really cold, so that stood out.
You mentioned a few moments ago your Ring doorbell. Is that a device affixed to your exterior door frame?
Objection, leading.
Overruled.
It's fixed to the outside of my porch, so not quite on the door, but just next door to the door. Yeah.
Okay. And does that capture video?
Objection,
Yeah.
leading.
Overruled.
Yes.
What about audio?
Yes.
Objection, leading.
Overruled.
So there's 4 clips that I submitted, 4 or 5 that I submitted to the police.
All right, let's work our way through those. Let's start, Your Honor. I'd ask that we please show exhibit number 75 for the witness only.
Objection, relevancy.
Overruled. Permission to publish granted.
Objection.
It's noted. Overruled.
As we're waiting for that to pop up in the jury box on their screens, I'll ask you, Mr. Ryder, do you see a date and timestamp on the bottom right-hand corner of this video?
Objection, leading.
Overruled.
I do.
Is that a timestamp that's a feature of Ring, or was that added after the fact?
Objection.
Overruled.
It's a feature of Ring. I didn't add that. Yeah.
And to your knowledge, does that timestamp appear to be accurate?
Objection.
Overruled.
Speculative.
Yes, that is accurate.
For the record, the objection was overruled.
Hey, I'm calling an Uber, and I'm supposed to be waiting for it over here, but I don't know when it's coming. Can you call it for me, please? I'm homeless.
And just for those of us with not the greatest eyesight, would you mind reading that timestamp on the bottom right hand at the beginning of this exhibit?
Objection, leading.
Overruled.
Yeah, it says November 21st, 2021, and the timestamp says 17:01, so 5:01 p.m.
Okay. The voice we heard in that exhibit that we just played, whose voice is that?
Objection, leading.
Overruled.
Objection.
You may answer, sir.
It's Mr. Brooks's voice.
It's not yours.
No.
Okay. Your Honor, I'd ask that Mr. Brooks please be instructed to remove his face mask momentarily.
Sir, would you please remove your face mask and face the witness?
Was that a question of...
The state's asked, sir, please remove your face mask and face the witness.
I'm confused. He made a statement about voice.
The question's been asked and answered. Please remove your mask.
What was the question?
Please remove your mask and face the witness.
Mr. Ryder, do you see the person depicted in exhibit number 75 in the courtroom today?
Yes.
Can you identify him for us by telling us where he's sitting and what he's wearing?
He's sitting at the table right there wearing a black suit and a gray striped tie.
I'd ask the record reflect that the witness has identified Mr. Brooks.
The record will reflect that the witness has identified the defendant as the person depicted in this video and the person who was on his porch on November 21.
Objection, I don't consent to being called that name for the record.
What happened in the moments after this video, the 20 seconds that were captured?
He was telling me that he needed to use my phone to let his Uber know where to pick him up, and that he was homeless and cold, and he said he didn't have any weapons or anything on him, and he lifted his shirt real quick, and I was like, no, it's okay, you can use my phone, and I let him come inside and warm up.
You made a motion with your hands there regarding what Mr. Brooks said about not being armed. Can you do that again, just for anybody who missed it?
Objection, I don't know, not consent to being called that name.
Go ahead and
Again, for the record.
Yeah, so I don't remember exactly what the motion was. I remember him saying he didn't have any weapons and he's not dangerous. And I think he lifted his shirt really quickly. But then I was like, don't worry, I'm not worried about that. And so I didn't, it's not like I patted him down or anything like that. But.
Okay. Did you let him in the front door that would be right next to your video doorbell?
I actually...
Leading.
I can rephrase.
Go ahead, rephrase.
What door did you let Mr. Brooks into your home?
I let him in the back door.
I don't consent to being called that name.
Overruled. Go ahead, you may answer.
Yeah, the back door. I gave him a coat right away, and then gave him my phone, and then told him where to sit down.
What else did you give him?
I gave him a sandwich because he said he was homeless, and I said, I can get you some slippers to put on your feet to warm your feet up. I never did end up giving him slippers. But yeah, so I gave him a jacket to wear while he was at my house. I gave him a spot to sit and wait for the Uber and a sandwich.
You testified earlier that he was on the phone with his mom. How do you know that?
Objection. Speculative.
Overruled.
A few reasons. I heard him say mama a lot, and his mother called me, and I didn't answer, but his mom called and left a voicemail after the fact, confirming it.
Did Mr. Brooks leave your home at some point?
Objection. I don't consent to being called that name.
Overruled. You may answer.
So he was in my house for 8 or 9 minutes, and then I was standing on the front door looking outside because I was getting a little nervous because I thought the Uber would be there in a minute or two, not 10. And so after 8 or 9 minutes, I'm looking around outside and I see a police car drive by. And then I see another one coming down the street. And so I tell him, I say, hey, we don't get a lot of police traffic on this street, and I'm getting nervous, and this is just too weird of a situation. You're fine to wait for your Uber, but you need to do it outside of my house. And he was a little bit like, oh, no, it's okay, don't worry about it, don't worry. And I said, no, you need to leave. And then he listened and got up, and I've got video footage of that, of me escorting him outside of my house. He's still on the phone, and he's still got my jacket on, but I just said, you need to leave.
I guess while we're waiting, we can make use of this time. Mr. Ryder, could you read the time and date stamp for us on the bottom right-hand corner?
Objection, relevancy.
Overruled. Go ahead.
Yeah, it's November 21st, 2021, 17:10, so 5:10 p.m.
What are you wearing in the video?
A gray shirt.
Overruled.
A gray shirt.
Did you hear the wind in that video?
Yes.
What do you recall being said in that portion of the video?
Objection, leading.
Overruled.
I'm walking Mr. Brooks outside of my house, and my neighbor, Greg, says, are you guys looking for that guy? And I had no idea of anything at this point, and so I say, I don't know, this might be him. You can hear that in the audio. I don't know if anybody was able to distinguish that, but that's what was said. And then Mr. Brooks says, no, no, no. And then I say, can I have my phone, please? And then after that, I say, can I have my jacket, please?
My ID! My ID!
Mr. Ryder, what happened during that video clip?
Objection, leading.
Overruled.
Mr. Brooks, or I should say the suspect, came to my door, asked to come back inside to look for his ID. I said, no, I'll look for it. You stay out there. And I was looking underneath the couch and everywhere that he sat for his ID when I hear the police officers saying, put your hands up. And
Did you ever find that person's ID?
no,
Did that person leave anything else inside of your house?
no.
26, block 126. Hey, do you know this guy? Absolutely not. Okay.
The video is a little bit blurry. Do you know where Mr. Brooks is at this point?
Objection, leading, and I do not consent to being called that name.
Overruled. Objections noted. You may answer the question.
Yeah, the suspect is on the east side of my walkway, on the northeast side of my house, in my yard. If you see where those two police officer heads are, the suspect is on the grass right there.
Before that evening, you didn't know the guy that came to your house, correct?
Correct.
And so why do you refer to him by name if you didn't know him?
Because after the fact, the police officers and other people involved informed me of who the suspect was that was at my house that night.
And were you aware that the ring footage was shown on social media platforms?
I was aware, yes.
Any idea how that came about?
Objection.
Grounds.
Relevance.
Grounds.
Overruled. You may answer.
Yeah, I released it.
And you released it. What do you explain what you mean by released it?
Yeah, the news wanted the footage, and I thought that this was good footage for this community and the victims to see some justice of the suspect put into cuffs, so I decided to release it.
And were you paid for that release?
I was.
So it would be fair to say that you profited off your ring footage.
The incentive to release the footage was not to make money, and we donated a lot of money of the money we did see off of it. But yes, we did. The money did make, or the video did make money.
Do you recall how many videos you released?
I believe it was 4.
And you got paid for all 4?
I don't know if it was paid for a per video basis, or we were getting bombarded by the news, so we worked with the agent that then dealt with all the news people, and we just got some off the back end, so I don't exactly know how that works.
At any time during your interaction with the suspect, did you notice any car keys?
No. It's not to say he didn't have any on him, but I didn't notice any.
You didn't notice any?
Nope.
That'd be fair to say?
Yep, that'd be fair to say.
Did you notice any drug or alcohol?
I didn't personally notice any drug or alcohol. I know there was some substance found on my porch after the fact, but I didn't notice. I think maybe I smelled a little bit of weed or something, but nothing stood out too much.
And you stated that you gave the suspect a jacket and a sandwich?
Yes, sir.
And was that due to the suspect saying that they were homeless and cold, or did you just take the initiative to do that?
I don't remember the suspect asking for food, but I do remember them saying multiple times that they were homeless and cold and needed help, and so I took the initiative to try to help any way I could in the moment.
And you let them use your phone, correct?
Yes.
And how do you know for sure who they were talking to?
Because the number that they had called me back and left a voicemail saying that they were the mother of the person that just called. She said something to the effect of, "Hi, you just let my son use your phone. I'm calling back to figure out what's going on." And so that told me. And I did hear the suspect use mama when they were on the phone too.
Did you follow up with the caller that left the voicemail after that?
I never called her back, no. She just called one time and left one voicemail. I did give the phone number to the police because they asked for it, so I gave them the number you had called and then told them about the voicemail calling me back.
Do you recall keeping that phone number in your call log after that?
I believe it's still in my voicemail history, if that's what you're wondering.
Even now?
Even now, yeah.
Any reason why you would keep it this long?
It's just, I didn't go out of my way to keep it. It just is on there. I don't get a lot of voicemail, so I checked this morning just to make sure it was on there, and it still is on the bottom of my list.
So why would you check for it this morning?
Because I thought maybe it'd come up today. I don't remember the exact number, but I still have the voicemail if I needed to bring that up.
What led you to believe that it may come up this morning?
Because I knew I had to testify, but I didn't know what exactly would come up or not.
What do you mean by you knew you had to testify? Is that...
I got a subpoena and asked to come and share what happened at my house that day, and that was one of the things that happened.
You seeked testifying.
Objection.
Grounds.
Argumentative.
Sustained as to the form of the question.
So you made reference to still keeping the voicemail. Did you keep any of the ring footage?
It's still on my phone, yes.
Any reason why you would keep those this long?
I just haven't felt the need to get rid of them, I guess. I mean, that video is protecting me, you know, from being involved or anything, so there's no reason I would ever get rid of it.
Would it be fair to say that you weren't involved in anything that evening?
Other than trying to help somebody who I thought was in need, I was not involved in anything that evening.
So why would you have any fear that you may be implicated in anything, and if you know that you weren't involved in anything?
Because I had a suspect who had just done horrendous things come to my house, and automatically people are going to think that maybe I had something, or I knew you or something, and I didn't. And so this is just validating that you told me you were homeless and I was trying to help a stranger out when really... Sorry. What's the question?
I mean, it would be fair to say that you weren't arrested in any connection to any events that evening. Would that be fair to say?
That'd be fair. I've never been arrested.
And so my question would be, why would you think that you would be implicated in any way?
Objection.
Grounds.
Asked and answered. Next question.
And how do you feel that the keeping of the videos would protect you from something that you don't need protection from?
Objection.
Grounds.
Asked and answered. Sustained.
I think I misspoke when I said that it was protecting me, because it's not necessarily protecting me. It's just something I haven't got rid of yet.
Did you have any other interactions with those neighbors that evening?
Yes. They called me after I got done doing my reports with the police, and I explained to them why there was so much police presence at my house afterwards, and that that the suspect was arrested at my house, or at my front porch.
And did they at any time say anything to you about seeing a vehicle or having knowledge of a vehicle at that time?
Yeah, Greg, my next door neighbor, saw the red vehicle running over people.
And he saw that? He told you that he saw that?
Yeah.
And you stated that they told you what they saw. Any reason why they wouldn't speak with law enforcement, seeing as how they were right there in the area?
Objection.
Grounds.
Only for speculation.
Sustained.
Have you yourself filed any claims in this matter?
No.
Have you yourself seen or read any complaint in this matter?
No.
Would you yourself consider yourself an injured party in this matter?
No.
Are you aware of who the plaintiff is in this matter?
Objection.
Grounds.
Relevance.
Sustained.
You ever hear who the plaintiff was in this matter?
Objection.
Grounds.
Relevance.
Grounds.
Sustained.
Have you yourself ever had any interaction with the plaintiff?
Objection.
Grounds.
Relevance.
Sustained.
Do you even know if there's a plaintiff in this matter?
Same objection.
Grounds.
Sustained.
Do you recall how much you sold the ring footage for?
Objection.
Grounds.
Relevance.
Overruled. He may answer.
I believe gross, it was a little over $23,000. But after taxes, and we donated a lot, so we saw a lot less than that afterwards.
Would it be fair to say that's quite a nice profit? Grounds.
Sustained as to the form of the question.
And would that be the price just for one of the ring footages, or in total, all that you sold?
That was the total. Yeah.
The 4.
Like I said, I don't know how that worked. That was just the kickbacks that we got from working with the. So yeah, I guess all of it, all 4 footage that was distributed to the news.
Do you recall which station that was? Which news station?
I think it was like most of the NBC, ABC.
So it was
CBS.
multiple.
Yeah, I mean, I don't recall all of them. No, I don't exactly which ones it was. I don't know.
So it'd be fair to say it was pretty much all the standard news stations.
Yeah.
Do you recall if that included TMZ?
Objection.
Grounds.
Relevance.
Sustained. You've made your point. You can move on.
Mr. Ryder, do you have your phone on you right now?
Overruled. He may answer.
I don't. I gave it to a gal that let me in here. She's got it though.
While we're waiting on that, you mentioned you checked your phone this morning to confirm that you still had the voicemail we've been talking about, right?
Yes.
Relevancy.
Overruled. You questioned him about it. It's proper.
I'm referring to the use of the phone. What is the phone?
We haven't gotten there yet, sir. You're premature. You may answer.
You did check.
Yeah, I did.
If we were to provide your phone to you here today, do you think you'd be able to find that voicemail?
Objection.
Overruled. He may answer.
Yes.
Do you think you'd be able to play it on speakerphone for everybody to hear?
Objection. What is the relevancy?
Overruled.
Yeah, I can do that.
Relevant. There's a way to also play it through the technology.
Objection. What is the relevancy?
Could I have a bailiff, please?
You can unplug it from the charger. It's probably
to the witness.
Objection. What is the relevancy?
It's relevant, sir. You cross-examine him about it.
Thank you.
Yeah, I cross-examined him about the question, not
Brooks,
playing the phone.
please, I've made my ruling.
So is that a judicial determination?
Go ahead. You may ask your next question, Attorney Witcher.
Please open up your phone and let me know when you find the voicemail.
It's still pulling up right now.
Sure. You followed instructions and turned your phone off before you came into court.
Objection.
Overruled. He may answer.
Leading.
Yes, I turned the phone off before court.
And part of that request, Judge, would be to include the time that the voicemail was left and the number from which it came.
Okay, objection. What is the relevancy of that?
The objection's noted, and you may ask the witness those questions.
You might as well ask about the videos too. Then.
We'll get to those.
How much longer do you have with?
5 minutes.
All
Well,
right.
I don't know how long this voicemail is, with that caveat.
All right. Please continue.
It's
Okay.
29-second voicemail.
Okay. Can you tell us what phone number that voicemail came from?
Objection. Relevancy.
Overruled. He may answer.
The voicemail came from 1, so plus 1 or whatever, so 414-610-2153.
Can you tell us what time that voicemail came in?
Yeah.
Objection. Relevancy.
Overruled. He may answer.
5:27 p.m. on November 21st
Of 2021?
of 2021.
Objection. Leading.
Overruled. His answer may stand.
And Your Honor, at this point, I'd ask to allow the witness to play that voicemail using speakerphone. And if that doesn't work great with the audio system, then we can try the plugging in option.
Once again, the jury will only consider this not for the truth of the matter, of what's asserted in that voicemail, but simply to substantiate that it was received. Go ahead.
Objection.
Noted. Overruled.
Yes, Mr. Ryder, I don't know what's going on. I'm at work. I work at Trader. And my son, that was my son who let use your phone.
Oh, sorry. I'll restart it. I was using the wrong
Yes,
mic.
Mr. Ryder, I don't know what's going on. I'm at work. I work at Trader. And my son, that was my son who let use your phone. And he's calling. I don't know what's going on. I'm just trying to see if he got the lift or what, because the guy is in a white Dodge Charger. I guess apparently the lift driver switched cars, and I didn't get the message. So I'm just trying to find out what the hell is going on. So I'm just want someone to just call me to tell me something, because I don't know.
And then that's the end of the voicemail?
Yes.
And you didn't contact the person who called you and left that voicemail after the fact, did you?
Objection. Asked and answered. Cross.
Overruled. He may answer.
No, I never contacted her.
Okay. Are you able to access your call log?
Yeah.
Objection, leading.
Overruled.
Can you go back to November 21st of 2021?
Okay.
Can you see what number Mr. Brooks dialed that day using your phone?
Objection, leading.
Overruled.
Objection, I don't consent to being called that name.
Did you release anything to the media that you didn't also provide to the police?
Objection.
Overruled.
No, everything that was released to the media was already released to the police department.
Did you alter those videos or the audio that goes with them in any way when you released them to the media?
Objection, hearsay.
Overruled.
No, I never altered any of them.
What about when you sent them to the police?
Objection, leading.
Overruled.
No, never altered them.
Were you aware at the time that Ring is a subscription service?
Objection, leading.
Overruled.
Yes, we pay a subscription for it.
When Mr. Brooks first knocked on your door, were you planning to sell those videos?
Objection. I don't consent to being called that name.
Overruled. The witness may answer.
Objection, speculative.
It's not speculative. Overruled. The witness may answer.
Objection, hearsay.
It's not hearsay. Go ahead.
No, I had no idea what was going to happen after that.
What about after you let him in the back door and gave him a sandwich and a jacket? Was this
Objection.
all part of a plan at that point?
Objection, leading.
Overruled. He may answer.
No, there's no plan to get footage to sell or anything like that. No.
You simply provided those videos to law enforcement and the media.
Objection, leading.
Overruled.
Yes, that's correct.
Thank you. I don't have anything else.
After the fact.
All right. Thank you. You may step down. It's a little after 12:09. We will take our lunch break. We went a little bit longer, so I'm going to take about a 90-minute lunch break today. So all rise for the jury. We are in recess.